Hello, my dear brothers and sisters at Our Lady of the Woods Parish in Woodhaven, people of goodwill, all of my wonderful acquaintances, those I'll still meet one day, those who will just view me here on this moment in this place. It's another beautiful week. Sun is shining. And today, in a very special way, we in the church celebrate the feast or the memorial of St. John of God. He died in 1550. He was an amazing man. He was a soldier, he was a shepherd. He had a conversion in his 40s. He turned to the Lord, started to focus a lot on how he could worship God and respond to God. And one of the saints at the time responded to him and said, wait a minute, it's not about you, it's what God asks of you. And so he goes on to an incredible career. He develops a hospital. He lays the foundation for the Order of Hospitallers, which is a religious order today that still have about 1,100 members who reach out to the poor, to the sick, who are in healthcare facilities. And I think the other thing we have to realize about him is it's awesome to celebrate these different men and women, young men and young women, children of our church that are called saints, because they have such fabulous lives. And I think sometimes we don't know enough about them. He himself was suffering from some mental illness at one point. And yet he goes, he finds the Lord, and he serves God. I like his quote today that says, labor without stopping, do all the good works you can, while you still have the time. Also today we celebrate International Women's Day. So it's a global celebration celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. It's a day that should remind us to have a call to action, for looking at how we in our own ways might show that sexism, how we do not perhaps honor and give the dignity of women as co-creators with us, as men in the world. And so today is March 8th, as we celebrate this International Women's Day. It's a challenged world, and it needs to be an alerted world. And as it comes from their page on the International Women's Day, the theme is choose to challenge. And so, there's the gesture, you hold up the gesture. And the gesture's there to show support and solidarity. Raise your hand high to show you're in and that you commit to choose to challenge and call out inequality. Purple, green, and white are the colors of International Women's Day. Purple signifies justice. Very apropos in the Catholic Church right now. We're in the midst of purple, for Lent. But purple has its moments and place. Green symbolizes hope, and of course white represents the purity of the call to truly be pure and not have our own selfish agendas. And so we celebrate International Women's Day as we also look to our own Catholic faith. From a letter of Pope John Paul II to women in 1995, he talks about the importance of the vocation of the genius of women. Necessary emphasis, St. John Paul II says, should be placed on the genius of women, not only by considering great and famous women of the past or present, but also those ordinary women who reveal the gift of their womanhood by placing themselves at the service of others in their everyday lives. For in giving themselves to others each day, women fulfill their deepest vocation. Perhaps more than men, women acknowledge the person, because they see persons with their hearts. They see them independently of various ideological or political systems. They see others in their greatness and limitations. They try to go out to them and help them. In this way, the basic plan of the Creator takes flesh in the history of humanity, and there is constantly revealed in the variety of vocations that beauty, not merely physical, but above all spiritual, which God bestowed from the very beginning on all and in a particular way on women. And so a very blessed International Women's Day to all of the women of our parish, the women on our parish staff, those women that we encountered today, young girls as they grow into what they're called to be, and as we remember from our own faith, what St. John Paul II calls the genius of women. So a few updates. Tomorrow evening on Tuesday at 7 p.m., we have the parish finance meeting, and that's every month. So if you have anything that you would like to bring up, you can always contact Jerry LeBoeuf or myself or one of the members of the parish finance. On March 10th, Molnar Funeral Home will be giving a virtual pre-planning seminar. It's in our bulletin. Look for it. It will discuss a lot of issues on pre-planning funerals and things that you need to think about and consider. Some people will say, oh, that's too dismal. I don't want to think about it. I will tell you this. It was in my own family where my mother and father pre-planned everything. And I'm telling you, it was a real blessing for my brother and I and for the rest of the family. They had everything planned. We didn't have to worry about this or that. We knew exactly what they wanted. We knew exactly how to celebrate their masses of resurrection. And so I know it can be a difficult or challenging moment, but it was such a blessed, graced time for my brother and I amidst our own grieving of losing our parents. So please consider coming on March 10th, and it's in the bulletin. I think it's what time in the evening? I have the bulletin over there, and we'll check it out. Becky's checking it for me right now. So I think it's 6 o'clock. Okay. And then March 11th, we have our monthly parish staff meeting. Every month we take time as a staff, as I've told you before. Everyone's not in Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. So it's important that we at least gather once a month. It's been challenging because we like to get together and be together and do some things to celebrate. We're still waiting on going down to Hamtramck to the Polish Cultural Center from last Easter's staff meeting. We'll hopefully get there one day after the pandemic has really taken the nosedive. But pray for us on Thursday as we have our parish staff meeting at 10 a.m. in the morning. Also that evening, we have the second part of our Lenten mission for our family based on faith, hope, and love. So this Thursday at 7 p.m., it's Hope with Father Lewandowski from St. Roch. One of the parishioners asked me today, well, are you allowed to go? Well, virtually. Because of the pandemic, we are not opening it up for people to come face to face. So it's very easy. Again, go to your bulletin. You can take a picture of the barcode. It'll get you right there, or contact the parish office here if you have problems or questions. Becky can help you, or leave a message for Jason. So that will be this coming Thursday. The following Thursday will be Father Mark on love. And then the final Thursday, this wonderful date called March 25th, beautiful feast in the church, will be all three of us on a panel with the different questions you're sending in. So please, in the meantime, send us questions. What are your questions for this family that we're going to have and become a family on July 1st? Concerns, hopes. There's many blessings too. So anything you want to ask, anything you'd like to share, any of your hopes, please email me, or of course email any of the priests at the parishes. March 12th, we'll continue Stations of the Cross every Friday during Lent after the 9 a.m. Mass, and then in the evening at 7 p.m. will be a different set of stations. So last week, we want to thank the Caldwell family for leading the stations. This coming Friday, we have our pro-life reflections, and then another family will lead after that the following week, and then we have the Catholic Women's Organization for the final week during Lent. So you have two chances for stations. You can come after the 9 a.m. Mass, about 9:25, or you can come to the 7 p.m. stations, or you can go on our website and do the Stations of the Cross in light of St. Joseph, the year of St. Joseph. Please make sure you're checking the Sacrament of Reconciliation times. Again, anytime after the Masses during the week. Also on Saturdays from 3 until as close to 4 o'clock as I can go before the Mass. There's also on the 19th and the 26th, 6 o'clock in the church before stations. There's also the availability of just calling the office, and I've already done a few of those, and it doesn't, then we have to worry about someone standing in line. You can take your time. So you've got a number of opportunities for the sacrament of reconciliation. Also look in the bulletin for the times of Holy Week and Easter. We had to make one change. It'll be corrected in the next bulletin this weekend. The Easter Vigil Mass is at 8:30. We had originally planned it for 8 o'clock, but we got the directives from the AOD, which says we have to begin no earlier than 8:30. So again, we're going to do the Mass passes this year. Go and, go on and get your Mass pass. Again, if you've got questions or concerns, call the office, talk to Becky, pass it on to people you think may not be so internet savvy. Tell them to call the office. Well, in a reasonable moment now. This is the week to call. At the last minute, we can't take 200 phone calls, but certainly call, ask for Becky or Jason or even myself. I'm still interviewing this week our RCIA candidates. I've already interviewed 3, and what a blessing they've been to talk with, why they want to join our parish in the Catholic faith, and I continue interviewing them this week. So I close with 2 things. One is called Women as Equal Witnesses of the Gospel. It's interesting. It was written in the 5th century by St. Jacob of Sergoff. And I just close with this thought as we look to the women of our lives, the women of our faith, the women of our church, the women of the world. And I close with this 5th century poem. By you even the sisters are strengthened to speak. Your instruction has opened the closed mouth of the daughters of Eve, and with their voices throngs of crowned women are singing out, and women teachers are being called into the congregations. A new vision that women will speak the gospel. It is a new age, a complete sign of your teaching, that there in the kingdom men and women will be equal. Your effort made the 2 sexes into 2 harps, and men and women began simultaneously to give glory. Interesting that that's so apropos for us today, and it was written in the 5th century. And of course, I always close with my little humorous one. We're coming up this Sunday to Laetare Sunday. It's one of the 2 Sundays of the year. The other one is Gaudete Sunday during Advent. They're called the Refreshment Sundays, the Rose Sundays. And that's during that one time in Advent and this one time in Lent that we're reminded that even in our moments of penance, in our moments of looking and asking God to create in us a clean heart, looking into those overtures of reconciliation, moments that we have to turn away from those things that are evil and turn back to God, we should do it, though, with rejoicing, that there is joy in our faith, even in the moments of challenge, even in the moments of penance. And so this coming Sunday, you'll see the rose color in the church with flowers. And I love this cartoon. So you've got the 2 altar servers there with the priest, and the priest is in his rose-colored vestment. And the one altar server says to the other, I like Father's pink robe. And the other altar server looks at him and says, how do you know? It's rose, not pink. The other server says, because Jesus rose from the dead, he didn't pink from it. Another little thought to bring humor to your hearts. In a beautiful week where it's supposed to get up to 60, enjoy the week, enjoy the sun, and enjoy what you're called to be this week. The people that God places in your journey, the people that somehow interact with you that might be strangers, could be family, might even be friends. But let's enter this week aiming towards Laetare Sunday, rejoicing. And what better weather to have to get us in that mood. God bless and have a beautiful week.